Have you ever felt like no matter how much you accomplish, it's just never enough? Like you're constantly grinding, handling more responsibilities, and doing everything you're supposed to. But instead of feeling fulfilled, you end up exhausted. Not only exhausted, you end up stressed, and worst of all, you feel like nobody cares, understands you, or respects what you're doing. I used to feel like that all the time. And then I had one of those Neo moments. You know, like in the Matrix, where everything you thought you knew suddenly makes sense in a whole new way. I had heard of these ideas before. I knew about masculine energy, about purpose, about leadership, but I wasn't truly living it until one book made it all click for me. Welcome back to another episode of Mi Camino. Today I want to share the mindset shift that finally made everything clear. How stepping into my purpose not only changed my life, but completely shifted the energy in my home and my relationship. Imagine you're carrying a backpack, and every responsibility, expectation, and pressure you take on is like a rock inside it. At first, it's manageable. You carry it because you're supposed to. But over time, the weight adds up. Instead of walking freely, you're just struggling to move forward under the weight. That's how I felt. Success wasn't fulfilling, it was just heavier responsibility. But here's what I didn't realize at the time: the energy I brought home every day wasn't just affecting me, it was affecting my relationship. One of the things that would frustrate me is that I would walk in the door stressed, frustrated, and just overwhelmed with my day. And part of me wanted my wife to greet me with this adoration that I felt like I should be getting. But instead, if I was in a bad mood or having a rough day, she basically kind of like left me alone or was pushed away. And this book had me realize why that was. Where I thought there was indifference, disrespect, or just being plain rude, it wasn't that at all. It was because I was looking at things the wrong way. This book dives into masculine and feminine energy. The Way of the Superior Man speaks about the roles and responsibilities of each. And it really clarifies why sometimes we have conflict and we're not understanding why. And as masculine energy, we want to provide. We want to do whatever it takes to take care of our home. But masculine energy must lead and be grounded. The feminine energy wants to follow. It wants to trust. It wants to flow with the masculine energy. But it can't do that if the masculine energy is lost. And by what I mean lost is like if you're truly lost, like if it's obviously apparent that you don't even know what you want. And the book does dig into that. A lot of us are running around trying to meet all these expectations and trying to reach all these goals that we've never really sat down and vetted and really looked into if they're going to make us happy, if they are a piece of the puzzle towards happiness. And a woman will not fully trust or surrender if she feels like her man doesn't have a direction, if they're running a hamster wheel. And don't get me wrong, this could be people that are successful, that they have a lot of money, they're successful what they're doing, but they're not fulfilling their purpose. They're doing something to obtain money to fulfill the void, but no matter how much they do, they still feel that emptiness. That emptiness resonates. We give out that vibe that no matter how much money we have, we still have all these internal issues. A woman will not fully trust or surrender if she feels like her man doesn't have direction. And that one was into the nuts to me. When a man isn't in his purpose, he creates imbalance. If the masculine isn't leading, the feminine will step up into the masculine energy to compensate. This creates tension because now she has to become the leader instead of following you. If as a male you're completely lost, or as the masculine energy in this relationship you're completely lost, she can't fully follow. So that's why she has to step into her masculine role. Now that creates tension because now she has to become the leader instead of just following you. The result: the natural polarity disappears. She stops being soft, supporting, and trusting. I had heard this before: a man must lead with purpose. But for some reason, I never fully connected it to what it actually is happening in my life. I thought I was leading. After all, I was providing, working hard, making things happen. But leading isn't just about doing, it's about direction. The second I truly understood this, not just intellectually, but on a deeper level, everything started to shift. Instead of coming home drained, I started coming home grounded and present. Instead of expecting support without offering stability, I made sure I was leading with purpose first. The biggest realization: a woman's natural role is to flow with your energy, but she won't follow a man who doesn't know where he's going. So let me ask you again: Are you leading your life with purpose? Or are you just carrying weight? Are you creating stability or direction? Or are you leaving your woman or your feminine energy feeling like she has to take over? See, the energy you bring into your home and relationship is a direct reflection of how aligned you are with your purpose. I want to share with you real quick when this Neo moment happened to me and when it really clicked and how it clicked. Me and my family drive cross country all the time. And while we drive cross country, I like to listen to a lot of audiobooks. This was one of the books that I selected on this trip. And I do remember that I was either a little bit out, well, I was on the outskirts of Chicago when this aha moment happened. Where with learning about this and realizing that it's my lack of direction and my lack of true purpose that has everything in chaos, that I actually said out loud, that's bullshit. My wife was asleep next to me and she wakes up, looks at me, is like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, nothing. But in my head, I'm all like, that's BS. That's BS. I kept on saying that. That's BS. That's not fair. And the more, luckily, I still had a ways to go to get to Manassas, Virginia from Chicago, where although at first it felt like a kick in the nuts and I felt like that was dumb, the more I molded over, the more it makes sense. Basically, in my head, it was like, it's on me? That's even on me? Like, after everything, that's even on me? And then it was like, it's on me. Then it was like, it's on me. And finally, it was like, it's on me. See, another thing that this book shows you is that your relationship's a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of the energy you're carrying around. And if you want things to change, you have to change that energy. And I forgot what exact passage was, but it basically told me this, that if you want your home, if you want to come to a loving home, you have to show up in a loving way. Your energy will be returned. And I realized that sometimes we're so overwhelmed with the world that it's hard to do that. And that's the next step. Realize that you need purpose. So you need like a beacon. You need your North Star. Because once you have that, anything else that doesn't need you to that or help you get there is trash. It's something that you need to get off your back. Because we have to realize that we can only control what we can control. You know, our actions, our decisions, and our reactions when something happens to us. And with that notion, we have to realize that a lot of the things we carry, we have to let go. And when you have your purpose, it's a lot easier because you know it's not leading you to where you want to go. It might not be the shortest way. You might have to take a little longer way to get where you want to go. But at the end of the day, you start dumping off things that mess with your energy, masculine or feminine. We both have different roles in different situations. But when I realized that I am the compass also of my home, that if I'm constantly feeling lost, all trust is lost in me, I realized that, hey, it was on me to step up. If the energy in my home was shitty, it's because I was leading in a shitty way. And unfortunately, as tough as a talk that was to myself, I realized that I owned it, and luckily I embraced it. And for that, I'm very thankful for this book. I'm very thankful for this Neo moment, and I want to share this with you guys. So, if this resonates with you, if this kind of makes you shift your mentality, hopefully you like this one. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode. Good night, guys.